Welcome to the deep dive. Ever wondered if those crunchy snacks from far off markets could actually be the future of your dinner plate? Today, we're peeling back the layers on one of the most surprising and perhaps for some, most challenging food trends edible insects. We're diving deep into the buzzing world of bug snacks to uncover their incredible potential and, yeah, figure out which one is leading the pack. If you're curious about the wild and wonderful world of food, you're absolutely in the right place. Head over to mindexpansiondaily.com for more mind-blowing insights like today's topic. And while you're there, please do us a favor, like and subscribe to Mind Expansion Daily to join our global community of curious minds. If you love what we're sharing and want more of these deep dives, maybe support us by buying a coffee. The link is right there in the description. After this dive, I have a challenge for you. Do you agree or disagree with my take on the top bug snack? Leave a comment below and let us know where in the world you're tuning in from. Our goal is really to reach every corner of the globe. So we're talking about entomophagy, which is, just the scientific term for eating insects. It's an ancient practice, been around for millennia, but it's now gaining, well, unprecedented traction as a truly vital, sustainable protein source for our future. Our mission today is to explore the science, the cultural landscape, and the incredible potential of insect-based snacks, all as of August 21, 2025.
And what's truly fascinating here is how quickly the need for alternative protein sources has moved from a niche discussion to a global imperative.
Yeah.
We're looking at a world population surging towards 9.7 billion by 2050.
Yeah.
That's an immense number of people. And our traditional agricultural practices, they simply won't scale efficiently enough to meet that demand without immense environmental cost.
Right.
This is why entomophagy, ancient as it is really becoming vital for our future.
And it's not some fringe idea, is it? We in the West often perceive it as novel, maybe a bit weird, but it's been a staple for so long in so many parts of the world.
Precisely. We're talking about over 2 billion people.
2 billion.
Across Asia, Africa, and Latin America, who already incorporate insects into their daily diets. It's not a delicacy for most, it's just a regular part of their meals. And recent reports highlight this, estimating there are over 2,000 edible insect species.
2,000, wow.
Yeah, and we've seen global consumption grow by a remarkable 30% since 2015 alone. When you look at the bigger picture, sustainability, the environmental benefits are just astounding.
Tell me about those benefits.
Okay, get this. Insects require something like 98% less land than beef production.
98%?
And use 2,000 times less water. Plus, they produce 100 times fewer greenhouse gas emissions.
That's incredible.
Just imagine the impact. Take crickets, for example.
Mm.
They need less than 2 kilograms of feed to produce 1 kilogram of edible protein.
Okay.
Compare that to, say, beef, which needs a massive 10 kilograms of feed for that same kilo of protein.
10 kilos versus 2.
Right. So this isn't just an alternative. It's potentially a revolutionary answer to our planet's food crisis,
Right.
offering, unparalleled efficiency.
Those numbers are truly compelling. Seriously. But even with such clear advantages, there's still that major hurdle, isn't there? That ick factor, especially in Western countries. I mean, before my own taste test adventure, I'll admit, I had my doubts too.
And this raises a critical question. How do we overcome that deeply ingrained cultural aversion? Surveys in Western countries like the U.S. show that only a small fraction of consumers, maybe about 15%, are actually open to trying bug snacks.
Only 15%, that's low.
It is. And the primary reason, as you pointed out, is that ick factor. It's often linked to cultural perceptions of insects as pests or something dirty, unhygienic. The biggest hurdle isn't really scientific or nutritional, it's deeply psychological.
So what does this all mean when we look at cultural attitudes shaping acceptance? It's clearly a huge differentiator globally. On one hand, you have places like Thailand, right? Home to a thriving, $1 billion fried cricket industry, sold everywhere.
Yeah, and about 70% of urban markets there, it's huge.
Or Mexico, where chapulines, those toasted grasshoppers, are a true cultural staple, you said, consumed by 40% of rural households.
That's right, a significant part of the diet.
And then there's Japan, where certain wasp larva dishes are seen as a high-end delicacy, sometimes costing as much as $50 per serving.
Exactly, these are all very established, celebrated culinary traditions.
Which presents such a stark contrast to Western perceptions.
It really does. Studies indicate that a significant majority of U.S. consumers, around 60%, associate insects with poverty or contamination. This perception is often reinforced by public sentiment. You see posts on social media citing disgust as a major barrier.
Yeah, I've seen those.
But the good news is there are clear strategies for shifting this. Education is proving to be really key. Programs like bug banquets and special cookbooks, they've been trialed at U.S. food festivals.
Oh, interesting. Like exposure therapy.
Kind of. And they've shown to increase acceptance by as much as 25%.
That's encouraging. It really shows that exposure and maybe a shift in presentation can make a big difference. It seems like if you can't quite see the legs, maybe people are much more open to trying them.
Absolutely. The way insects are processed makes a huge difference, too. Research has found that a large majority of testers, about 70%, preferred insect-based products in more familiar forms.
Like powders or flour.
Exactly. Cricket flour and protein bars, things like that, overeating, whole insects. And this focus on how they're processed, whether it's flour in a bar or maybe even fried crickets like you mentioned in Thailand, that's crucial for acceptance.
Makes sense.
But even with great presentation, there's another major hurdle that dictates how widely these products can actually be sold.
And that's got to be the complex world of regulations, isn't it? How exactly do legal frameworks keep pace with a food source that's both ancient and, for many, entirely new?
That's a critical point. Regulation has definitely lagged behind in many places. In the U.S., for instance, the FDA classified insects as novel foods back in 2021.
Novel foods. What does that actually mean for producers?
Well, novel foods means they undergo really rigorous safety and quality checks. It ensures anything that makes it to a supermarket shelf has met strict standards. That's crucial for consumer trust, obviously.
Right.
However, by 2025, only yellow mealworms and house crickets have actually been approved for human consumption in the U.S., following international guidelines.
Only two types.
Yeah, it's a slow process, and that limits what can be brought to market. Plus, we also have to consider allergic risks, particularly for those with crustacean allergies, like shrimp or crab.
Oh, okay. Is that common?
It affects about 5% of consumers, so it's an important safety consideration as these products become more widespread. Labeling is key there.
So the U.S. is still playing catch-up, essentially, compared to other places.
Very much so. Contrast that with regions that have streamlined their regulations. Thailand's good agricultural practice standards, for example, have truly boosted their industry. They're producing 7,500 tons of crickets annually now.
Wow.
And in the EU, their 2018 novel food regulations spurred a remarkable 40% market growth for insect products.
40% growth.
Yeah. So the U.S. delays, unfortunately, they limit both investment and consumer access. You only found about 10 insect-based products in major supermarkets by 2024.
It's a few.
It really speaks to the powerful impact regulatory clarity, or the lack of it, can have on market development.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Given everything we've heard, the environment, the nutrition, the cultural stuff, why are crickets the undisputed leaders in the bug snack world? When you look across all the different edible insects, they just seem to be the breakout star.
Their dominance is pretty undeniable. In 2024, global cricket farming reached an astounding 1.2 million tons.
1 million tons.
Yes, and 60% of that was used specifically for human consumption. Part of it is their incredible nutritional prowess. They boast a massive 60–70% protein by weight.
That's really high protein.
It is, offering about 12.9 grams per 100 grams. Now, beef has more protein per 100 grams, technically.
Right, I think around 23 grams.
Yeah, but crickets come with less than half the calories and much less saturated fat. Plus, they're packed with essential micronutrients like iron, providing 820 milligrams per 100 grams, and calcium. These are nutrients that can address deficiencies affecting over 1 billion people globally.
So they're not just protein bombs, they're incredibly nutrient dense too. That's a powerful combination, especially for global health. And what about the flavor? Does that play a big role in their popularity?
Absolutely. That's another key factor in their success. Crickets have a remarkably versatile, kind of nutty, earthy flavor profile. You see it on social media. People often describe them as tasting like roasted peanuts.
Roasted peanuts. Okay, I can see how that would work in snacks.
Exactly. It makes them incredibly appealing and adaptable for a whole range of products, from savory snacks to flours used in protein bars and baked goods. And beyond taste and nutrition, their farming efficiency is just a game changer.
How so?
Well, they require minimal equipment and space. And studies have shown that crickets convert feed to protein a remarkable 6 times more efficiently than cattle.
6 times more efficient.
Yes.
That efficiency truly makes them sound like a scalable solution, not just some niche product. It's hard to imagine the scale of that, like entire mountains of protein.
Indeed. And we see companies like Entomophagy up in Canada, they're producing 9,000 pounds weekly,
Wow.
contributing to a global market already worth around $500 million.
$500 million.
And Thailand, with its 20,000 cricket farms, serves as a successful model that's now being adopted in places like Kenya and Uganda. It's creating real jobs, about 10,000 jobs in those regions.
That's a significant economic and social impact. It proves crickets aren't just a food trend, but potentially a sustainable industry.
Exactly.
While crickets clearly lead the pack, what other insect species are making their mark? There are, thousands out there. It's hard to imagine crickets are the only ones getting attention.
That's right. While crickets are certainly the most popular, especially in the snack world we're focused on, several other insect species are quite notable. Each has its own unique characteristics and cultural significance. For instance, in Mexico, you have chapulines.
Yes, the grasshoppers.
Right, toasted grasshoppers, often seasoned with chili. They provide around 40% protein and have this distinctive smoky flavor. They're a really popular street food, consumed by about 30% of Mexicans, according to recent surveys.
I've heard those are quite popular. What about something more globally recognized in products, something perhaps less visibly buggy?
That would likely be mealworms. These are quite versatile, packing about 50% protein. And you'll find them in a significant portion of U.S. insect-based snacks, maybe around 15% of the market.
So use like cricket flour.
Often, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And protein powders, bars, that kind of thing, much like cricket flour. Then, switching gears completely, in Japan, there's the unique market for wasp larvae.
Wasp larvae.
Seriously. It's considered a true delicacy, part of a $100 million market there.
Yeah.
Often consumed either boiled or raw. Sometimes. And it's prized for its unique, sort of creamy texture. It really speaks to how high-end insect consumption can actually be.
Creamy wasp larva sounds intriguing. Definitely different. And what about from Africa? Are there key ones there?
Absolutely. In Africa, particularly southern Africa, mopane caterpillars are very significant. They are not only a traditional food source, but are critically high in iron, making them an important nutritional staple.
High in iron, okay.
Yeah, they're consumed by about 20% of South African households.
Yeah.
And their resilience during droughts makes them a vital food security resource in many communities.
That's amazing. So each of these really highlights the diverse ways insects are integrated into diets and culinary traditions around the world.
Exactly. It's not just one thing.
So what does this all mean for our bodies and our planet? We've talked about the individual insects, but what's the combined promise of this whole movement if we step back a bit?
Looking at this from a broader perspective, the combined promise of insect consumption is pretty profound. It spans health, environmental benefits, and even economic ones. Nutritionally, crickets, as we discussed, match beef in protein quality. That's a big deal.
Right.
But beyond that, they offer added fiber from chitin, that's their exoskeleton.
Chitin, like in mushrooms.
Similar, yeah. And studies have found this chitin actually boosts gut health in a large number of consumers, around 70%. They also provide essential omega-3 fatty acids, zinc, and vitamin B12, all crucial for supporting overall health and immunity.
So it's more than just protein.
Definitely. It's not just about meeting protein needs. It's about a more comprehensive nutritional profile.
That makes a lot of sense. And environmentally, the impact sounds equally compelling based on those earlier numbers.
It is. Insect farming emits a remarkable 97% less CO2 than beef production, according to recent studies.
97% less CO2.
Yeah. The potential for large-scale change is immense. If we can scale insect consumption to cut global food emissions by just 15%,
Which sounds achievable.
maybe, that alone would save 1 billion tons of CO2 annually. That's if only 10% of our global protein needs shifted to insects.
1 billion tons of CO2.
It's a powerful argument for their adoption, pointing to a cleaner, more sustainable future for food.
Speaking of adoption, I had to put my taste buds to the test for this deep dive.
Oh yeah, how did it go?
I took on my bug snack challenge in Manila's bustling Divisoria market. It was quite the experience. First up, I tried some fried crickets right from a street vendor. They were about 100 Philippine pesos, roughly $1.80 US.
Okay, the classic street food approach.
Exactly. And they had this truly crunchy, nutty taste, almost like popcorn but with a savory kick. Honestly, it was a surprisingly pleasant experience. Not icky at all once you start eating.
Interesting, like popcorn.
Yeah. Later, I tried a cricket flour protein bar that was much smoother and, dare I say, less buggy in texture and appearance. That bar was actually a hit with my friends. I shared it in a group chat, and 80% of them rated it tasty. Put it on social media, I got like 5,000.
Presentation matters.
It really does. I even got to chat with a local vendor there, Maria. She told me she sells about 10 kilos of crickets daily. 10 kilos.
Wow, that's quite a bit.
And she's seen a 30% sales rise just in 2024. People are buying them. I also tried some mealworms while I was at it. They had a more earthy flavor, less appealing than the crickets for me personally, but still quite palatable.
Earthy. Yeah, that's common for mealworms.
But my verdict was clear. Crickets absolutely win for both taste and versatility. Hands down.
That's a fantastic first-hand account, and it really brings to life the potential here. People are trying them, liking them, and if we connect this to the broader implications, the economic potential is truly immense. Projections suggest that if just 25% of global consumers adopt bug snacks,
Okay, 25%.
it could save a staggering $1 trillion in food production costs by 2050.
Wait, $1 trillion in savings?
$1 trillion. It's a staggering figure that truly elevates this from just a niche trend to what could be a profound economic shift.
Wow, that really changes the conversation.
Indeed. And it's not just about savings. The employment opportunities are significant too. In the Philippines, for example, where you were, economic estimates project that insect farming could employ 100,000 rural workers.
100,000 jobs.
Yeah. Then there's the critical issue of food security. Community programs, like Kenya's insect microenterprises, they have the potential to scale up and feed potentially 10 million malnourished people.
That's incredible impact.
It's a truly multifaceted solution that touches on global health, economics, and sustainability.
Yeah.
And all of this is reflected in the growing enthusiasm you see online. Social media is buzzing, with lots of posts calling crickets the protein of the future.
What a journey this deep dive has been. Seriously fascinating stuff. So to kind of recap, crickets are truly leading the bug snack revolution. They offer that impressive 60–70% protein.
Yeah.
They're incredibly eco-friendly in their production, way better than traditional livestock.
Right.
And they boast that versatile, nutty flavor that's finding fans globally, even if slowly in some places. Despite some lingering cultural perceptions, that ick factor and those regulatory hurdles we talked about.
Which are real challenges.
It's the growth. Entomophagy, backed by things like Thailand's billion-dollar market and the EU's 40% market growth, really highlights its massive potential. My own little adventure in the Manila market only confirmed cricket's broad appeal, aligning with the 2 billion consumers worldwide who already embrace them. Now, for you, our curious listener, I have that challenge. Do you agree that crickets are the top bug snack? Or maybe your team mealworm, or something else? Comment below with your take, and please don't forget to tell us where you're tuning in from. Let's grow Mind Expansion Daily worldwide. We love seeing all the locations. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to check out our plant-based meat video next for another fascinating look at the future of food. But before we go, here's something to think about. Beyond the obvious benefits of sustainability and nutrition, how might embracing entomophagy fundamentally shift our relationship with food? Could it change how we view cultural boundaries, maybe opening up completely new culinary frontiers globally? Something to chew on.